Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you an Are My Favorites, Still My Favorites 2019 edition. In case you guys haven't been watching the series of videos on my channel, I will leave a link to the few that I've done already. I am basically reacting to all of the 5 years worth of favorites videos, favorite books of the year videos that I have made on my channel. So for, I think it's 2016, 17, 18, nope, must be 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. Must be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, that makes sense. All 5 years worth, reacting to that video and seeing what books I put on my favorites, and then from that reaction, creating a short list, deciding whether they are favorites enough to go on a short list. And this is the final one of the reaction videos. So I'm doing 2019, which is obviously last year's favorites. And then I will have a video probably next month where I am going to attempt to make a top 10 of the past 5 years, top 10 favorite books of the past 5 years. I can't remember how many are already on the short list. At this point, I think it's like already like 15 or maybe even more than that. I don't know. And we have a whole year's worth of favorites still to react to. Now, obviously, this video is a lot more recent. I filmed this in January of this year. Having said that, I can only, off the top of my head, remember maybe 3 or 4. Only 3 are coming into my head right now, but I'm sure I may have more memory sparked as we go on. But obviously, I just have a terrible memory for what books I have in these videos. But let's jump straight in and check out what's on there to see what's going to go onto the short list. I have a feeling that a lot of these, because they're so recent and I loved them so recently, that a lot of these are going to end up on the short list, which is concerning because I'm really scared about making that video. But okay, let's jump into the video. To you my favorite books of 2019. It is finally time for me to talk about all my favorite books of 2019. So, before we get into the favorites, I do have a kind of dishonorable mention. I thought as we know, if you've been watching these videos, obviously the dishonorable mention is never going to make the shortlist, but it's always fun to reminisce on the books that I hated as well. Do I remember what this book was? No, I can't remember. I can't remember what this is. Let's check out what book I hated last year. I would mention my worst, least favorite book of the year. And that is This Charming Man by Marian Keyes. Oh yeah. I really hated that book. That book I hated because I found it offensive. That's normally what I reserve my 1-star ratings for. 2 stars is if a book is just I don't enjoy at all. But if it doesn't have content in it that I find offensive for the most part, or that it could hurt people, then I generally would just give it 2. But if it's really bad and has offensive stuff in it, then that's when I give it a 1. So, and I don't know if this was, I don't think this was a straight 1. I think it might have been a 1.5, but didn't love that book. But anyway, let's get into the favorites. Before we get into my top 10, I do have one honorable mention. Honorable mention. As we know, I do take the honorable mentions into consideration, and I think an honorable mention has made the shortlist in a past year. So, but this is, like I said, was quite recent that I filmed this, so maybe an honorable mention won't make the shortlist. I can't remember what the honorable mention is. Let's find out. And that is the Blood for Blood duology by Brian Growden. That's right. I wanted to give that a mention because while they weren't 5-star books, it was a very, very enjoyable duology for me that I highly recommend. It's YA alternate history about a girl who is it's alternate history where Germany won and Hitler won the World War II, and they are in power. And the main character is a shapeshifter, and she's entering this motorcycle race across Europe that exists because the winner of that race gets to meet Hitler, and she wants to win the race so that she can assassinate Hitler, to spark kind of a revolution, I guess. So really, really enjoy that duology, but not enough to make the shortlist. Like I said, they weren't 5-star reads, but they were good, and I do recommend if that sounds interesting to you. But let's find out what the favorites were. Side note, we haven't even got into the favorites yet, but I just wanted to mention, I love the nail color that I had going on, and I'm really jealous of how great my nails look in this video because quarantine has been really hard on people who, well, it's been hard on everyone. I don't want to trivialize anyone's pain, but the people who have not been able to have nail appointments, who are used to getting acrylic nails done regularly, it's been a journey. So anyway, unrelated, let's get into the favorites.
Coming in at number 10 on my favorites list was The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren.
Of course. Okay. Yes, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Obviously an adult romance, one of my favorite adult romances that I've read in recent times. Really, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. Fun, hate to love, like really great rom-com-y style romance. Not a favorite enough to make a short list of the past 5 years. Like, I've had such strong favorites over the past 5 years that this like couldn't really probably compete in like the top echelon of that. So that one's not going to make the short list.
Coming in at number 9 is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides.
Of course this is on here. I can't believe I forgot that this would be on here, because of course. I mentioned when An Unwanted Guest by Shari LaPena was on the list the year before, I believe, that at that time I remembered that this one would be on there, but it's in the like few weeks since I filmed that one, I've completely forgot that An Unwanted Guest and The Silent Patient are probably my two favorite thrillers that I have read ever. And I did put An Unwanted Guest on the shortlist, so I guess The Silent Patient has to make the shortlist as well. I'm very critical. I've mentioned this before. I'm very critical of my thrillers. I've never given a thriller 5-star, despite the fact that it is my favorite genre. I still enjoy, even a bad thriller, I typically enjoy. So I like kind of take that into consideration. So it wouldn't surprise me if on the final top 10 list there isn't a thriller on there, despite the fact that it is my favorite genre. But that is going to make the shortlist because, like I said, I really loved this thriller last year. Like I said, it's probably one of my top 2 favorite thrillers of all time. So that is going to go on the shortlist.
Coming in at number 8, so this is my top rated of my 4.5-star reads, is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender.
Okay. By Leslie Walton. I didn't let that bit play. I love Ava Lavender. So I have been thinking about, and let me know if you guys would be interested in this, doing a video about the books that maybe should have been 5 stars. Because as you guys know, I'm very stingy with my 5-star ratings, which I'm fine with. But there are the occasional books, but when I think back on them, I remember them so fondly, and they have stuck with me so well that I think in hindsight, I would bump them up to a 5-star. So I've been considering doing a video about that, of the books that on reflection should have been 5 stars that I didn't originally give 5 stars. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. But this is one of those books that would potentially be in that video. Even though this wasn't a 5-star, this is going to be on my shortlist. I think about this book often. Really, really, really enjoy it. Anytime, like my friend Emma read this after I read it and she really loved it. And anytime someone picks this book up and then mentions that they picked it up and like talks to me about it, I'm like, yes, tell me more, because I want to know how they felt about it, because I really, really loved that book. So that is like based on like that feeling about that book, this one has to make the shortlist. Apologies if you can hear weird noises in this video. My cats are going absolutely mental today for some reason. Normally when I film, and I'm filming at the same time I normally do, my cats are asleep. But today they're going absolutely mental, and I can hear in the next room that Giles is currently climbing the shelves in my wardrobe. He manages to climb up the shelves and like likes to sleep up the top of the wardrobe, and I can hear him, the banging of him, because he like, the closet door is like, there's this gap between the closet door and where the shelves start, and he like basically wedges his body in there and uses it like a ladder, and like his body bangs against the wardrobe door as he does it, and that's what I can hear. So if you can hear weird noises in the background, I swear I'm not keeping a prisoner who's like banging to get out and trying to get your attention in the background. It's just my cats. So let's move on to the next one.
Coming in at number 7, I don't own a copy of. Excuse me, and that is We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda NGOZI Adichie.
Okay. Yes. We Should All Be Feminists. God, I don't even know how to feel about. I don't think that I have strong enough feel. I did really love that book. The commentary in there, I found incredibly interesting and incredibly powerful. I felt the reason that this like was a 5-star for me was that when I read it, I felt empowered by the messages in there. And I think that that is really incredible for a book to be able to do, for you to read it and just feel seen and feel like you really vibe with all of the messages in there and all of that. Like, it really spoke to me, like I said, and I felt very like empowered as a woman having read that. So that's why it made my favorites list, and it's definitely worthy of being there. I don't think it would make the top 10 of the past 5 years. So I'm not going to put that one on the short list, but an incredible read.
Coming in at number 6 of my favorite books was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang.
This is one of the ones that I remembered would be on this list. The Kiss Quotient, one of my favorite romances. Like I said, last year was actually a really good year for romance for me. I had a couple of romances on my favorites list last year, and this was one of them. Really brilliant. Really liked the representation that the main female character is autistic. Loved that it's like a fake dating type of thing. That's one of my favorite tropes. Really enjoyed that. Again, I just don't know, romance, even though I love it and I really enjoy it and I can recognize a great 5-star romance as this was, it's not my favorite genre. It was at one point, but it's not anymore, and I don't think that I feel strongly enough about the genre to have the books end up on my favorites of the past 5 years, like to make a top 10. Obviously there were favorites of the past 5 years because they made favorites video, but I mean like a top 10 list, I don't think that they're going to be able to push high enough to make that list. So I'm going to not put this one on the short list.
Coming in at number 5, so we headed into the top 5. Coming in at number 5 was Wonder by R.J. Palacio.
Fuck. How did I not remember that Wonder, like how did I not recognize that Wonder hadn't been on a favorites list yet? So clearly I read it last year and it would be on this year's list. Far out. This has to make the short list. I've talked about this book quite a few times and how much I loved it. I have such clear memories. Like I said, I mention this every time I talk about this book of, I listened to this on audio and I was listening to the last of that section as I was walking from, I got off the bus from work and I was walking from my bus stop to my home, and I was literally walking down my street with like tears like streaming down my face, praying that the neighbors weren't looking out the window at me thinking I was a freak. Oh, this book has just such beautiful messages in it, and I love it so much. Like, I love Wonder. God. There's some strong books from this year that are making the short list. That has to make the short list. Like, no doubt that that's going to make the short list. Holy crap. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh God, Wonder was only number 5? I'm really racking my brains for what else is in this video. Far out. Let's move on.
In at number 4 is Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton.
Oh my God, I forgot about Boy Swallows Universe. Oh my God. I freaking loved Boy Swallows Universe. I really did. And it's so crazy to think, like, if you look back at these videos and you think that there are books that were like lower down the rankings that make a short list, and then books that were higher up don't, and like that doesn't really make sense. But obviously you do the list at one point, feelings change. I really loved Boy Swallows Universe, obviously. Do I love it shortlist enough? I don't know. It's again kind of like what I was saying about romance, that really like literary books are not my like typical jam. And that's what I mean. This book took me by surprise because I did not expect to love it the way that I did and for it to really speak to me. And I do think it's an acquired taste. It's got quite an odd type of story and an odd writing style in some ways, but I loved it. Sorry, I've got to move my legs. My legs are starting to cramp up. Oh God. Is this going to make the short list? I'm so torn on this that I think I'm going to put it on the short list. But if it'll make the final list, I don't know. Like I said, I can't even remember what's on the short list. Everything is starting to bleed together. So I think I'm going to put it on the short list. I don't know that this is strong enough. Like I said, and it shouldn't come down to what genre it is, but you know what I mean? Like, I have fonder feelings towards certain genres than others. Anyway, we'll see whether it makes the final. That's for future Karen to deal with, but I am going to put it on the short list. Okay, we're putting it on the shortlist. Far out, and we still have, what, 3 more books to go? I think I remember what 2 of them are, I think. Like I said, let's keep going.
Now we come to the top 3
Yeah, we do.
of the year. Coming in at number 3 is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston.
Okay, yes, this is one of the ones that I was pretty sure was on my favorites list. Probably my favorite romance I've ever read. Like I said, I had really good romances last year. I had 3 on my favorites list. This was my favorite of the 3. Probably, well, I say I rated it higher than the Kiss Quotient, but the Kiss Quotient was really great as well. Again, can a romance make the favorites of all time? I don't think so. Not of all time, of the past 5 years. I did love this book. I love it. I think it was incredible. I enjoyed the absolute shit out of it. I don't think it's strong enough to make the final, like, top 10. So I'm not going to shortlist this one. Which I feel like it's controversial, but I'm not going to.
Coming in at number 2 on my favorites list is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. So take
I'm an idiot. How did I not remember that this was on here? Because I literally, Chloe and I, mentioned this movie to each other last night, and somehow it still didn't enter my brain that this was on my favorites list last year. Far out. You know how some books you feel like you've just always read? Like, that's kind of like what Wonder is for me. Like, if you asked me, like, earlier today, or when did you read Wonder? I'd be like, oh, it was a couple of years ago. It wasn't a couple of years ago. It was last year. And same with The Monster Calls. I have that same feeling about that. It just feels like a book that I've always probably because I've known about it and heard about it for so long that it feels like I read it sooner than what I did. A Monster Calls has to make the shortlist. Incredible read. I loved so much of what this book did. I think that this really validates the anger that comes with grief. That's one of the main things that it really spoke to for me. Really, really incredibly well done. I really need to read more Patrick Ness, but that has to make the shortlist. And I mean, I'm going to wait till I say it in this video, but I remember what my number 1 was, and let's get to that. Hold on a sec.
But you know what that means? It is time for my number 1 favorite book of the year. Drum roll.
Oh my god, I'm so dramatic.
I don't know if you guys can predict what it is. It's
I can.
Asking for It by Louise O'Neill.
Okay, there we go. I said it. Asking for It by Louise O'Neill is definitely making the shortlist, no doubt about it. And it's funny because the video that's going up directly before this, my recent reads video, I just read Louise O'Neill's other book, Only Ever Yours, and it had similar like commentary on it that this book is not enjoyable in any way. This book is incredibly anger-inducing, but in the right way for me, and it speaks to one of my favorite subject matters in books, which we've talked about a lot. I really like books that speak about rape culture and victim blaming and all of that. And this is hugely what this book does. It is a story about a girl who was gang raped at a party and basically the aftermath of that. I thought that the author's choice to make the main character who underwent this terrible crime be so incredibly unlikable, because she's not a likable character. I don't want to be friends with her. I don't like her. But the choice to do that and have this stark contrast of just because she is this type of person and that maybe she's not the type of person that most people would want to be friends with and you maybe don't like her, does not mean that she was asking for it and that she deserved what happened to her, and that, you know, you can't put your personal feelings about let that affect what you think is right morally or legally or any of that. And I just thought it was so incredibly well written, and I just, like I said, it made me really angry. It's a really tough read, but I think it's really, really worth it. And that's definitely got to make my shortlist. Like I said, that was my favorite book that I put on that list from only a few months ago, so that definitely is making the shortlist. Okay. Holy shit, I feel like I put a lot on the shortlist for this video. I'm starting to mildly panic. Let me just tally up how many I put on the shortlist from this video. How many have we got? 1, 2. Now I can't remember whether I put this on the shortlist or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it only 5? Well, 5 out of 10 is still 50%. That's still a lot. Okay, so 5 more books added to the shortlist. Give me 1 second. I can't remember how many were on the don't give me a second. Don't worry, I'm going to put it on the screen. I'll just put it on the screen for you guys. I'll put a total of how many books are on the shortlist. I think it's 20 or somewhere around there. So which means I have to cut half the books that I put onto the shortlist. It might even be more than 20. You know what? I am going to take a second because I want to know in giving you my final thoughts about this and what I've got to do. So give me a second. I'm going to... Just kidding. I already had 22 books on the shortlist before even filming this. It's now at 27. Funnily enough, 27 is my lucky number, but I don't feel so lucky in this circumstance. I have to whittle down 27 to 10 and rank them. I'm regretting every decision I ever made to think that this video idea was a good idea. I had toyed with the idea of trying to film that video, like doing that ranking live, like going through the list and being like, okay, I cut this, I do this, but I think that video would end up being like literally an hour long. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit down, have a real firm talk with myself and figure out what the top 10 are, attempt to rank them. It's going to be so hard. I'm almost like dreading it. Pray for me. But I would love, that's it. I would love to chat with you guys if you've read any of the books that I shortlisted in this video, if you think that they would make a shortlist for you, whether you think I'm going to be able to do it or I'm going to end up cheating in some way. I don't know. I really want to just do a top 10 list, like I said, and rank them, but it's going to be so hard. But like I said, I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye, guys.